Well, hello there, friends. Rebecca here, your friendly neighborhood dragon librarian from Farmington Community Library. And I'm here today with Gallie because we are here to talk about an amazing book. It's simply phenomenal. We absolutely love it. And we hope that this will spark your interest in reading this book as well. So it's June still. We're still in the middle of Pride Month. So we're reading books that feature LGBTQ characters. And this book absolutely fits that. And it's also a book that completely took me by surprise. I read it in the beginning of the year, sometime in January, and I thought that the title was funny, and I had heard a couple things about it, so I thought I would give it a try. And it ended up being one of those books that I was reading the library copy, and I loved it so much I had to buy my own copy. And I feel like you guys probably hear that a lot from me. I feel like I say it all the time on here, which is probably why my bookcases are always so filled to the brim with books. But really, this book was just so good, I had to keep a copy of it. So, what is it I'm talking about? What book? It's called Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. Everyone in this room will someday be dead. So it's got this cover that's got these like cute, colorful little bunnies on it, and then contrasted with that starkly bleak title, and that's very much how this book goes. So it's got a lot of dark humor, which can be sometimes hit or miss for me, but it absolutely, I felt like, worked in this scenario. It's also a very short book. It's not very long at all, so I read it very quickly, and I'm sure you could probably do so as well. So what is this book about? Well, it is about this main character whose name is Gilda. She's in her late 20s, and she is the most relatably anxious person, a protagonist that I have ever read. She made me feel so normal reading that book, and that never happens because I have so much anxiety constantly. I'm always worried about stuff that's out of my control. I always have these crazy intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. There's always the hypervigilance aspect of it too, right? And so I'm always kind of grappling with that stuff, and the main character in this book is also going through that, but like to like the highest, most extreme level you could possibly imagine, which sounds like weird to feel comfort by reading a character like this, but it is. I was like, oh, wow. Look at how this person is acting. I sometimes have thought like that, or I sometimes feel this way. And, or, wow, that is so much worse, or so much, more intense than I've ever experienced it. And there's something very comforting and cathartic about that. So, Gilda is in her late 20s, like I said, and she is a lesbian. She's an atheist lesbian. So she finds this flyer for this counseling or therapy group at this church, this Catholic church. So she decides, even though she doesn't like stepping out of her comfort zone, she is going to go and try to get this free, therapy or whatever. So she goes, and by a series of mishappenstance, the priest who is going to talk to her thinks she's actually applying for a job for a receptionist, and he hires her on the spot. So she was not there for that at all, and now she is this atheist lesbian working for the Catholic Church and completely over her head, doesn't know what is going on, doesn't even know what mass is, and has to learn all this stuff. But then at the same time, she is also, the reason why there was an opening as a receptionist was this elderly lady named Grace, who was the previous receptionist, passed away. Gilda finds that her death was very mysterious, so she begins investigating that as well. So there are all these things that she ended up like roping into. Like, there's people keep trying to set her up with these young men, and she can't tell them that she's a lesbian because it's the Catholic Church. And there's just all these really hilarious situations that she finds herself in because of this, and because she can't like speak her mind and say, no, that's not what I was here for. I was just here for the therapy. And now she has this job that she completely did not expect. So that's really how this book goes. It's just a series of accidents, one right after the other. But like I said, it's also really a really fascinating story about Gilda's, emotional and mental state as well. Because like I said, she's got really, really bad anxiety. It's very intense. And she's working through that as well. And it's her relationship with her family is very interesting as well. The way she interacts with the world is just so fascinating and amazing. And like I said, this book is funny, but it's also very emotional as well. There were so many times I was just cracking up out loud reading this book. And then there were so many times I had to stop and put it down for a minute and really just reflect on what I had read, because it was just so deep and poignant and just incredible. So, and like I said, that I think if this was a much longer book, that maybe wouldn't have worked, because it's such a contrast between the highs and lows. But because it's very short, I'm pretty sure it's actually less than 300. Yeah, it's barely over 200 pages. So it works. It works really well with this format. So this book is amazing. I absolutely recommend it. It's so funny in such a dark way that is just incredible, and it works really well with this book. And it, like I said, it deals a lot with mental health as well, which is really fascinating and interesting as well. So highly recommend this one. Everyone in this room will someday be dead. So that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that this book sounds as interesting as I found it to be. If so, please feel free to check it out from Farmington Community Library. And also, please give this video a like. I really appreciate you watching, and thank you so much for all the support. Have a wonderful day, my friends.